How's it going, everybody? Ragaroth here. So welcome back to another episode of Resident Evil 4 Remake. Will it make the cut? So this will probably be the last episode of this I'm going to do, because I can't really think of anything else, to be honest. So this is more about like story elements, story parts of the game, like important cutscenes, things like that. And I'm going to be honest, I guess I kind of clickbaited you with this video, because I honestly don't really know what they can cut. Now, Resident Evil 4, don't get me wrong, I like the story and all. Definitely, for the most part, memorable and fun and interesting, and it does help, I guess, expand the world of Resident Evil, even though it's kind of disconnected from the other games for the most part. I just don't know if it's really this big, dense thing that they could really get much from cutting things out, like obviously certain maybe lines and certain dialogue is delivered, things like that. But as for actual story beats, I don't really know what they'd cut out. If anything, I think we've gotten some evidence that they would be adding, if anything, mainly with the whole Krauser president, that, kind of the stuff of like how Ashley got kidnapped, things like that, Leon Krauser's backstory. However, there is one thing that I think maybe could get expanded on aside from the Krauser stuff in Resident Evil 4. And that's one particular character that comes to mind that could have been in the game a lot more. And that character is none other than
Mike!
Well, that too, but who I'm actually referring to is...
Me llamo Luis Serra.
Now, Luis Serra always felt like a character in Resident Evil 4 that seemed like he'd be around the whole game. If anything, maybe he'd live to the end of the game. That was definitely not the case. He dies kind of maybe halfway through the game, maybe a little less than halfway. He, basically kind of the early midpoint of the castle section. So yeah, I guess maybe around the halfway point. I don't know why. He just seems like, I guess just his personality, his design, his kind of, I guess interactions with Leon kind of suggest that he'd be around more. And the thing that also was kind of weird, he wasn't even playable in the Mercenaries mode. You'd think he would be. I mean, every character in Mercenaries that's playable, been in the game in some kind of action scene, done some Ganado fighting or something like that. And he's nowhere to be found, yet we have, and I'm not complaining about this by any means, we have Hunk and Wesker in the game, and they aren't even involved in the story. I mean, Hunk is rarely ever involved. He's usually extra mode guy. But Wesker, he's just literally seen talking to Ada on a screen. And again, I'm not complaining. Again, not complaining, complaining about playing as Wesker. But it did always seem strange to me. Now, I guess what I'm trying to say is it possible that Luis could have a bigger role in the remake? Possibly even live to the end of the game. I do think it's possible. I don't know if he's going to live to the end of the game, but I could see him maybe living longer. That's what I could maybe see. Now, I have heard, I know there's all these, all those rumors that, again, could very well all just be BS. A lot of them are sounding like BS by now, but let's just kind of humor them for the sake of this video. I've heard some say that this time Sadler will infect Luis with the parasite, and he'll become, a Plagas monster, and, you'll have to fight him, and Luis will kind of be he'll still be sort of conscious and be kind of like, regretful. He's like, basically like, I don't want to do this kind of thing, but he won't be able to kind of control himself. I do think that is interesting. I think that would be tragic. I think it would definitely make us, hate Sadler more. And it would be a new boss fight for the game. Another instance I thought of is maybe he does live near the end of the game, but kind of dies near the very end. Like, do you know the part where Leon and Ashley cure themselves, and Sadler finds them and attacks them, and kind of Ada holds them off? What if instead of Luis dying at the hands of Sadler in the castle, what if Sadler tries to kill him in the castle, but Luis manages to kind of evade it, get out of the way, I don't know, something. And of course Sadler could say like, oh, next time you won't be so lucky, something like that. And then, this time Sadler does get him, and then that's kind of the part where Ada starts holding Sadler off. Then the rest plays out normally. I do think that would be an interesting idea, and I think I would definitely like that more than what happens with Luis in the original. I think most of us would. I definitely think him turning into a monster would probably be the most tragic, but it would be. I kind of would be curious to see what kind of Plagas monster he turns into. would it be something more like Krauser? Would it be kind of like, you know, what Salazar turns into? I'd hope it'd be more like what Krauser turns into. I think Luis deserves more something like that than, you know, the big hunk of flesh that Salazar turns into. Or maybe even something that Mendez turns into, kind of, you know, more monstrous than what Krauser turns into, but less monstrous than Krauser. Now, I know this isn't really stories talk, but yeah, I think it would be great if, you know, well, of course, we got Mercenaries back and we got all the characters that existed in the mood in Resident Evil 4, if we got Luis as well. And I think it would be, it's already kind of easy to think of what Luis's loadout could be, because he uses the Red 9, something distinctive you see him use, and we do see him using it in the remake as well. And no characters in Mercenaries has that gun. Now, either maybe he could only have that, he would just have a beefed up Red 9 with the stock and everything, or maybe he could have the Red 9 and maybe a gun or two that is another one that isn't used in Mercenaries, like the Broken Butterfly, the original kind of sniper, the original shotgun, the mine thrower, or I guess in this game it'd be called the bolt thrower, the striker, or hell, maybe go crazy and give him like the hand cannon. I don't know about that. That'd be awesome though. Imagine him with a hand cannon. But yeah, I think this is definitely, I think, the number one thing I would want to, you know, aside from Krauser backstory with Leon, which it seems like we might be getting. This is definitely the number one thing I would like in the game more. Just more Luis, you know. And again, he's not like my favorite Resident Evil 4 character or something, but I do like the guy. He is fun. I think, yeah, and he was cool, you know. And like, it would be nice to at least see him more. If, you know, even if Resident Evil 4 is the last game, or Resident Evil Remake, I should say, is the last game we see him in. It'd just be kind of, you know, nice to have him go out on a better note this time. Another possible idea, and I think again, this idea might have been given to me by, you know, rumors that people have been throwing around, is that what if they add some DLC and they kind of give a separate ways kind of campaign, even if it's maybe not full on campaign, for Luis to kind of show what he was doing kind of behind the scenes when he wasn't around in the story. I think that'd be really cool. But I guess let's just start with him either having a longer role in the main story and maybe just being playable in Mercenaries before we get anything crazy like that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I know, again, I'm sorry I kind of clickbaited you with this one. I just didn't really know the best way to kind of go about it. I kind of just wanted to, you know, I wanted to do one more, you know, will it make the cut? And I just couldn't figure out a way to kind of incorporate this without kind of totally changing the format of the video. Let me know if you think there will be anything from the story that will be cut that maybe isn't really coming to my mind, or things that you would like to see added to the Resident Evil 4 story that maybe wasn't already there. You know, it could include just changes, like alterations. Like, I know a lot of people are saying that the interaction with Leon and Ada should be more impactful when Leon first encounters her in the story. I agree with that. But we already know it's not cut. It's just a matter of if it's kind of altered to kind of make more sense with Leon not seeing her in a while thinking she was dead. But yes, definitely let me know in the comments below. Like the video if you like it. Dislike if you dislike it. Definitely consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed to the channel already. If you like this video and some of my others, it would really help the channel a lot. Definitely check out my Discord in the link below. I also got a Patreon as well. But once again, thank you so much. And as I always say, another time, another place. Keep being awesome.